June 26th, just hours after the landmark Supreme Court ruling on gay marriage, the trans community of New York City and their supporters gathered for the 11th annual Trans Day of Action. We asked organisers of the event from the Audre Lorde Project what the gathering was all about.
We're here because we have transgender immigrants in detention centers in the country who need to be released because basically they're being harassed, raped, and misgendered, and also when they're deported, they are being they're being killed. So basically, when you put a transgender person in a detention center, a men's detention center, you are signing their death warrant.
The day started at Pier 45 and Christopher Street. People gathered and heard from featured speakers.
Trans movements have always been in leadership to fight for dignified, affordable health care, to shut down prisons, for racial justice, to get safe, affordable housing, and to end deportations and detention centers, and for every single human being's right to self-determination, agency, and safety.
What do we want?
Trans justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Trans justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
Before the scheduled march began, we asked a few individuals what they thought of the mainstream media's reaction to Caitlyn Jenner.
I think people are really comfortable because they got someone who conforms to heteronormativity and heteropatriarchy, who fits what they believe a trans person should look like. So they think, well, we did a good job and marriage equality is here, so why are these people saying anything? And it's like, that's why we're here, to speak for ourselves and to be active and to demand justice.
I think there's more of an opportunity now than I've seen in the past to talk about these issues on a more general kind of stage, and I think people are maybe a little more open than they were, or a little closer to some type of understanding than they were. There's a long way to go, but I'm pretty hopeful that we'll get there.
Thousands marched peacefully to 10th Street, to 4th Street, to Stonewall Place, and back to Christopher Street. And although this community has been gaining more visibility than ever, we heard from a few individuals afterwards that reminded us of just how harsh circumstances can be for those in the trans community.
Well, the issues still remain kind of stagnant with all the media attention. We're still seeing very large and very sad numbers of people being murdered, and the statistics seem to not have changed for trans youth being homeless.
It was kind of an interesting day, like beginning the day, like feeling like something like really, really big happened, and then coming here and it's just like, whoa, it's just so much anger and so much like negativity, and so rightfully so.
I think even though today was a historic day for the L and the G in the community, I think many people feel that there's still a lack of visibility and awareness around the disparities in which people who identify as trans face. And so I think what they did was come together as a community to raise awareness on the streets of New York City, where so many are celebrating, and they feel like the celebration is just beginning because there's a long road of what justice and equality can look like for the trans community.
For more stories like this, check out abeautifultransition.com.